What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and today I'm going to take a look back at the build-up and teasers leading to our latest hero Brigitte's reveal to discuss how and why it, well, didn't really work. Don't get me wrong, Brigitte herself is a great hero, but the way that Blizzard set up and especially executed the teasers meant to introduce her really kind of flopped. So without further ado, let's jump on in and take a look. Real quick though, if this is your first time on my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to keep up with all my future Overwatch content. Anyways, back to the video. So for starters, prior to Brigitte's release, Hero 27 was a highly anticipated addition to Overwatch. As far as I can tell, this was largely thanks to three major factors prior to her reveal. The first of which was the Christmas Eve livestream where Jeff both teased the new hero and also dropped enough ambiguous clues for people to begin building their own conspiracy theories about who it could be. While these have all since proven to be wild goose chases, the Overwatch community certainly had a moment where it thought Blizzard might be pulling another ARG on us. Likely unintended by Blizzard, this set our expectations abnormally high when it came to the clues and eventual hero we'd be getting over the next few months. For those of you who were around during the Sombra ARG, I'm sure you remember how exciting each new clue was and the speculation surrounding it. To a similar extent, I think Jeff's meme livestream triggered some kind of ARG PTSD, where we were suddenly all fastening on our tinfoil hats and preparing to decipher anything we could get our hands on. And this wasn't at all helped by the other two main factors. The second was that Jeff Kaplan went on record saying that Hero 27 was a surprise that has perhaps been hinted at. And, once again entirely against Blizzard's intention, the community took this quote and bastardized it to hell via a vicious game of internet telephone. Jeff was originally quoted saying this on December 12th, and by the time Hero 27 actually started being teased over 2 months later, the community had misquoted him so many times that people were convinced he had said something that he simply hadn't. And it didn't help that many fellow Overwatch YouTubers, not to name any names, were repeating this misinformation to their audiences, which only perpetuated the vicious cycle. I've talked to people who are convinced that Jeff had said, Hero 27 will be a Talon tank, or Hero 27 is someone we've seen before. And while Brigitte is in fact someone we'd seen prior to her hero reveal, Jeff never actually said that, and it's only a coincidence that it happened to be true. However, the reason that these misquotations were problematic is that they only fueled the ARG mindset that much of the community had put themselves in. Now, moving on to the third main factor, we have the fact that Jeff Kaplan also said that Hero 27 would be meta-changing. This was important because if you were someone who could care less about the story and characters of Overwatch, the prospect of a new hero edition that would stir up the meta was very exciting for the more competitive side of the community. Given the long-standing dominance of dive comp, many players were eager to see what could possibly change the gameplay for hopefully the better. With all three of these factors in play, there was all around very high anticipation for the new hero, either with regards to who it would be or what they would do. And as we've seen countless times before, no matter how perfect a hero can be, they'll never in a million years be able to live up to the hype and expectation the community often places on them. But finally getting onto the main problem, let's look now at how, in conjunction with all this radical new hero anticipation, Blizzard still managed to botch the build-up itself. When it comes to the build-up process used to lead up to something's release, Blizzard has tried it in a number of different ways. We've had the Sombra ARG, where she was teased for several months beforehand through a number of puzzles and clues. We had the Blizzard World update, where literally every bit of new content was officially teased via Twitter, leading up to the update itself. And we've also had Moira, who basically had a cold reveal in that we knew nothing about her and had no direct build-up teasers prior to her reveal at BlizzCon. Keep in mind, her cameo in the Masquerade comic doesn't count, since at the time we had no way of knowing that this was teasing a future hero. As I've said before, my personal favorite build-up was the one we got for Orisa. I think this had the perfect balance when it came to the number of teasers, the kinds of clues we got, and the overall mystery surrounding the new hero's identity. Now, moving on to Brigitte's build-up, what went wrong? Well, overall, it seemed like Blizzard was trying to replicate the Orisa build-up. The very first teaser, being the White Dome after-action report, was fairly synonymous with the Efi interview which kicked off the Orisa teasers. Both introduced a new character, being Emre and Efi respectively, who misled us from the actual hero each teaser was building towards. However, come the second teaser for each build-up, this is where they diverged. While Efi remains present throughout the duration of Orisa's build-up and ultimately played a huge role in her character backstory as her creator, Emre disappeared entirely. Unless they plan to somehow make him relevant to Brigitte at some point in the future, his entire purpose was simply to mislead us. Unlike Efi, who was initially a misdirect but whose true purpose later became clear, Emre was solely a misdirect, and overall contributed nothing towards Brigitte or her build-up other than to be a red herring. While red herrings aren't inherently bad, I think Blizzard executed this one quite poorly. In the context of only the first teaser, there was absolutely no way of predicting that it was building towards Brigitte. In the Efi interview, we at least got a mention of her plans to build Orisa, as referenced by her mentioning of the OR-15s. The after-action report, however, only played into Orisa's build-up by emphasizing the relationship between Torbjorn and Reinhardt, and I will say that it did do a good job of that, and I'm in no way criticizing the teaser for failing to build context leading up to Brigitte's name and character, but the included name drop of Emre just feels scummy. In hindsight, it apparently was only placed there to briefly confuse us without any relevant payoff, which is just bad storytelling. It comes across as Blizzard having lied to us, which certainly isn't a good feeling. That doesn't mean that we're all sitting around brooding about how mean and deceptive the Overwatch writers are, but it's just a bad way to build intrigue, especially when you can tell after the fact that it was done exclusively to create an unexpected and unnatural change in direction later on in the build-up. Moving on now to the second teaser, this is where the emphasis on Brigitte actually becomes evident. While it wasn't completely unexpected given how it continues the storyline of Torbjorn's injury and their relationship between him and Reinhardt, it felt disconcerting thanks to the main emphasis of the first teaser having been Emre. Each teaser seemed to be indicating Hero 27 as being someone completely different. Compared to Orisa's, where each teaser built in a linear direction towards the hero, Brigitte's felt very disjointed and messy. And then we got the third teaser. Disregarding the cruel jetpack cat references, this third teaser basically confirmed that the new hero would be Brigitte, or at least that she would play a heavy role with regards to who it was. This was then perpetuated even further by the fourth teaser, which was basically the third teaser. Again. What I think Blizzard was going for here with the last two teasers was that they knew by this point that we'd have figured out that the new hero was Brigitte. So instead of teasing the hero's identity, they instead chose to focus more on teasing what she would do. That's why we got two separate teasers, each showing off parts of her kit. Well, as it turns out, keeping a new hero's identity a mystery is actually a pretty important part of keeping their build-up interesting. And so, with the cat being out of the bag by the third teaser that Hero 27 was Brigitte, well, the whole build-up had kinda overstayed its welcome. And given that all the hype from the past few months had set our expectations skyrocketing, getting a new hero who wasn't only someone we'd seen before, but also we already knew their name and backstory, really felt anticlimactic. I know some people were super excited to see her become playable, but it still overall came across as fairly underwhelming. Personally, after the third teaser, I was ready for her to just be officially revealed already, which is partially why you may have noticed that I wasn't too pleased when a fourth teaser came out instead of the new hero. Sure, hinting at the fact that she was going to have a shield was nice, but I really think that most people just wanted to see her at that point, and dragging out the teasers even more was just grueling. But even worse than everything else I've mentioned so far, I think the most disappointing aspect of Brigitte's buildup was the multiple last-minute leaks. With Overwatch being close to 2 years old now, you'd think that Blizzard would have better safeguards in place to prevent leaks like this from happening, and yet Brigitte's role as Hero 27 and even her abilities were leaked 3 different times by Blizzard's own negligence and human error. First, we had the Japanese Overwatch Twitter, which, by some unfortunate means, accidentally tweeted out the teaser image's file path instead of the image itself. And of course, they were careless enough to name the file Brigitte Tease number 3. But it didn't end there. Shortly after this discovery, the community found that the source code for the Brazilian version of the After Action Report teaser revealed the image as being called Brigitte Tease as well. And then, a few hours before her official reveal, the patch notes for the PTR update she was a part of got leaked as well, revealing not only her name and role as a support, but also all of her abilities. Now, in terms of leaks, these weren't the worst that we could have gotten. At least they happened only a short while before her reveal, and given how Blizzard set up the teasers, we basically already knew it was her. But what really upsets me about this is just how careless Blizzard was for these to ever happen at all. Why would you ever place the literal name of the new hero in the file name like this? That's just begging for trouble. And worse, this isn't even the first time a new hero was spoiled because of this exact thing. For those of you who remember last summer, Doomfist being Hero 25 was leaked by the build name of a PTR version prior to his reveal. Keep in mind, anyone with access to the PTR could see this if it happened to crash, and of course, multiple people saw it. Also, looking at the leaked patch notes, this wasn't even the first time this happened either. A few hours before this year's Lunar New Year event started, the exact same thing happened where the patch notes leaked, revealing the name of some of the skins we were going to be getting with it. So in conclusion, the combination of the community's overhyped misconceptions, the poorly constructed build-up teasers, and Blizzard's own disappointing negligence resulting in multiple leaks made for a pretty mundane build-up overall. I mean, sure, we got a great hero out of it, and that's honestly all that really matters at the end of the day. But the fun and excitement of a new hero's arrival is such a special thing that we only get a few times a year. And at least for someone like me who loves diving into speculation and theorizing, seeing one of these rare opportunities flop like this is just really disappointing, as it feels like such a wasted opportunity, and in a lot of ways, makes Blizzard feel more flawed. Perhaps I'm being too critical over what was always meant to just be a brief publicity stunt to get more people paying attention to the game again, but I would love nothing more than to see Blizzard handle these things with just a little bit more care in the future, especially given the slow decline in terms of the game's story over the past year. It really saddens me to think that the Overwatch team might just not care enough about the little things anymore. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and be sure to leave your own thoughts about Brigitte's build-up down in the comments below. Did you actually really enjoy it, or were you as underwhelmed as I was? Don't forget to vote in today's poll card, and leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and turn on notifications to keep up with all my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.